Meghan Markle has just had a date night with a Finnish man who has been accused of both sexual harassment and racism. So what has she done to try and take the attention away from this scandal? I know, leaked Prince Harry's private pictures, never before seen, of them intimately kissing on their wedding day. And where, you might ask, my friend, has she decided to post these intimate pictures? Oh, that's right, on Mark Zuckerberg's social media network. So let's have a look at these. Oh, God. Yes, they were in love once, folks. They were. You know, as Lady Colin Campbell put it, he was whipped at the time. And this was an era where there was true happiness, really, between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. It wasn't to last, of course. And it is quite extraordinary that to distract from what has been a complete catastrophe for Meghan in Geneva, she has decided to open her photo book to the world. These pictures never before seen from the wedding. We even go inside what was meant to be a private reception where Elton John performed and Harry is seen hugging Meghan's PR friend, a woman who I know called Isabel May. She used to represent the Beckhams. Yeah, you'll notice who's not there, right? Apart from a very far away glimpse of King Charles, there's lots of Doria Ragland, but nothing of the British royal family. Harry's going to be furious about this. These pictures were never meant to be seen. And of course, the bigger point is it completely undermines the argument of Meghan Markle saying these social media companies are evil. But I know, I'm going to put up all of my pictures there. Meghan had a cozy dinner with a sex-accused politician. Here he is, Ville Rydman. And he is a Finnish politician who, according to the Royalist, is facing sexual harassment and racism allegations. Tom Sykes reports regular readers of the Royalist will know that we have often warned of the dangers and difficulties that Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, and Prince Harry face when engaging in their quasi-royal tours due to a slim staff and a lack of local on-the-ground support when they travel overseas. A case in point is surfacing today, with Meghan facing into a selfie crisis that is sure to have her PR team feeling a serious headache coming on. For it appears that at the dinner hosted by the World Health Organization in Geneva, Meghan posed for a photo with a Finnish far-right politician who has been accused of sending vile racist text messages and of sexually harassing young women and girls. In a post on X published on Monday, Finland's Minister of Social Affairs and Health, Ville Rydman, shared a smiling photo with the Duchess, simply captioning it a dinner with Meghan. But of course, the Sussex squad was soon out, writing, "Are you not the bloke who faced allegations of inappropriate behaviour towards young women and was implicated in racist private messaging?" Rydman found himself at the centre of a police probe when a 17-year-old girl reported to a sexual abuse support chat that a party member had been harassing girls aged 14 to 17 for years. The complaint triggered a wider inquiry in which 6 women said they had experienced unpleasant encounters with Rydman, all but one of whom were underage at the time. In total, 9 women have alleged that Rydman behaved in a harassing manner towards them, allegations he has denied, according to the Finnish newspaper Helsingin Sanomat. But the allegations do not stop there. The same newspaper also uncovered the minister's text messages with his girlfriend, most of which are too offensive to quote in full. A selection of the messages, including Rydman referring to Middle Eastern people as incomprehensible monkeys and desert monkeys, criticising Muslim women who wear headscarves, and using racial slurs against black people. The Royalist reached out to the Sussex's representatives to ask whether Meghan was aware of Rydman's past when she posed for a selfie with him. A spokesperson said that Meghan was approached during the dinner by several attendees for a photograph, which she often politely obliges, and that she was not aware of Rydman's past. Understandably, vetting the background of every person who asks for a selfie is not possible, a spokesperson for the Duchess of Sussex noted. The Tedros in the second outfit. And Rob Shooter is now reporting that this was a plan, a PR plan by Meghan, who decided that she didn't want her husband in Geneva because this was her moment. Well, okay, Meghan, it may have been your moment, but it didn't work out particularly well, did it? One insider telling Naughty But Nice, she knew the second Harry walked into the room, the conversation would shift away from her. Standing alone, Beside global health leaders, Meghan spoke passionately about protecting children online, but behind the scenes, insiders say the appearance was carefully planned down to the smallest detail. Meghan simply wanted this stage to herself. People can stop pretending this was about childcare. They could easily have found help. According to insiders, Meghan saw Geneva as a rare opportunity to establish herself as an independent global figure, separate from both the monarchy and her husband. Whenever Harry appears beside her, everything becomes about royal drama and family feuds, another source explains. Meghan wanted the spotlight on her work, not the chaos surrounding the royal family. Sources say Meghan worked closely with advisors, speechwriters, and stylists ahead of the event because she understood how important the moment could be for her future. Still, insiders insist Harry fully supported the strategy. This was Meghan's stage, the source said, and she wanted to completely own it. Okay, Meghan, that's fine with me. You own that moment. Because let me tell you, it was a monumental disaster. What do you make first? Can we just kick off with the pictures of the wedding, Angela, and the fact that she, 8 years on, is showing all of these pictures, which we never saw before because they're pretty uncouth. Let's be honest. They were kissing all the time at this wedding, and this is a royal wedding. I know some people will like it, Angela, but a lot of people will say this is too much. But what about the fact that she's now sharing these pictures on social media at the same time that she's campaigning against social media?
Well, it's very interesting because we all know that she said she had a horrible wedding. It was absolutely ghastly. Even though that it cost 3,000 million pounds, she didn't like it. She wanted to just have a very small arrangement with, but not such a big thing. So therefore, this is what she hates. Okay. Secondly, this is going to make everybody else hate because this is absolutely not royal. It's very rude. It's vulgar. And if you want to kiss away, absolutely fine. There's loads of places she could go away. This is now to make everybody angry about it and think that this is what she's like and she doesn't care what anybody thinks. I think it's a double hate, really. I think she's so cunning. I've got to recognize how cunning she is, and this is how she behaves. Because if you were with people who you liked, or you were people with you're very grateful because they spent hundreds of millions of pounds on you, you wouldn't do something that would be vulgar. Why would you? You wouldn't do it. So this is absolutely the opposite of going and looking through all the pictures and taking the ones that she thinks would have the most power.
And of course, no royals who paid for the whole thing, Angela.
Of course, yes, but she didn't want that. She didn't want that. She much preferred if they didn't do anything and she just had a tiny little event, the three of them. But it's not true. I think she wants a big nonsense, really. I think it's appalling to do that. I don't mean that the kissing is appalling, but it is vulgar to do that when you're joining a royal family and you've got lots of people with you and it's just not behaving yourself, are you? I mean, why don't you go into a room where nobody sees you and have a nice time? I don't mind anything like that. But just to let it go and look vulgar.
And these were meant to be private pictures.
Yes, they're all private pictures. She's got a lot, because she says she's got loads of things which she can always make people feel very worried about. There we are. I don't want to know if they're going to go to bed with each other in 5 minutes. I mean, I really am not interested. I'm not interested how they kiss. I would like to see how happy they were. They were having a lovely time and a nice kiss, maybe even arms around the neck, but you don't have to behave like a tart, do you?
Meghan Markle may have just turned one of the worst weeks of her recent public image into something completely different. Because according to critics online, the second Geneva started generating bad headlines. Suddenly, the internet got flooded with romance instead. Not another statement. Not another interview. Not another speech. Instead, private wedding pictures. Never-before-seen moments. Intimate kisses with Prince Harry. 100. And according to many viewers online, people immediately started asking the same question. Why no? Because officially, this was supposed to be simple. 8 years of marriage. A celebration. A nostalgic anniversary tribute. A personal moment shared publicly. Normal. Except according to critics online, the timing made the entire thing explode instantly. Because only days earlier, Meghan's Geneva appearance had already become dominated by completely different conversations. The crowd footage, the criticism around social media messaging,
was not sympathetic.
questions
This
about
is a man
image
under
management,
active police investigation,
and then another
who chose to
controversy appeared online. A photo circulating from a dinner where Meghan appeared alongside a Finnish politician whose past allegations and public controversies quickly became part of online discussion afterward. Now, importantly, public reporting referenced allegations and controversy surrounding him, but he denied allegations discussed publicly, and there were no convictions referenced. But according to many viewers online, critics online argued the optics alone became difficult. And according to discussions online, critics believe that's when everything suddenly changed. Because almost overnight, the headlines shifted. Now people were no longer talking about Geneva. Now people were talking about love, about Harry, about the wedding, about private photographs nobody had seen before. Then critics online noticed something else: the platform. Because according to many viewers online, people found it strange that after publicly discussing concerns around social media culture, the anniversary celebration itself was heavily shared through social media. That contradiction became impossible for critics to ignore. Then came the images themselves. Private kisses, behind-the-scenes reception moments,
couldn't be more stark.
close
But
emotional
first,
shots,
because people cannot stop
moments
talking
many
about
people assumed had intentionally stayed private for years. And according to critics online, that changed the feeling of the anniversary instantly. Supporters said, sweet, romantic, authentic. Critics said, calculated, distracting, strategic. Then another observation spread fast online. People started noticing not just what appeared in the memories, but what didn't. According to many viewers online,
have a 40%
critics
higher
argued the
likelihood of
emotional center of the
overcoming mental health
anniversary
challenges.
wasn't the
It's
royal
just Australia's
family.
sport-based
It wasn't history.
community.
It wasn't tradition. It was Meghan and Harry's private love story standing completely separate from everything around it. And according to critics online, that's when the real theory started. Because people stopped asking, why release the photos? And started asking, were the photos released so nobody talked about anything else? According to many viewers online, the strongest criticism wasn't actually about the photos. It was about the sequence of events. Because critics online believe if Meghan had posted these exact same anniversary images on a random quiet week,
lovely family moment,
almost nobody would
devoted
have
mother
cared.
energy.
People would have said, cute, romantic, 8 years, move on. But according to discussions online, this happened immediately after Geneva became dominated by criticism. That timing changed everything.
The whole thing exists
because
to
critics
honor,
online
to fund
argue
their own
people weren't
travel and
looking at the
accommodation.
anniversary in isolation anymore. They were connecting. Geneva. The crowd discussion. The social media contradictions. The dinner controversy. Then suddenly, private wedding content. According to many viewers online, critics believe that sequence created suspicion emotionally. Then another thing started getting attention: the amount of access. Because these weren't generic anniversary pictures. According to discussions online, viewers noticed these looked deeply personal. Private reception moments, intimate angles, close-up affection. Footage and photos that many people assumed had intentionally stayed private for years. That became the conversation. Because critics online started asking, if privacy has been such an important public message, why release some of the most private wedding memories years later? That question spread aggressively. Then people started revisiting older Harry and Meghan messaging. Privacy, media intrusion, boundaries, control over personal moments. And according to many viewers online, critics online argued the anniversary content complicated that message publicly. Because critics believe there's a difference between protecting privacy and curating privacy. That distinction became huge. Critics online argued Harry and Meghan don't reject visibility completely. Instead, critics believe they want control over which moments become public. Now supporters would argue that's completely fair. Everyone deserves boundaries. But according to many viewers online, critics think audiences increasingly feel every release arrives strategically rather than spontaneously. Then another observation spread online. people noticed how emotionally intense the anniversary felt. Not 8 years together, but look how in love we still are. Look how close we still are. Look at the chemistry. Look at the history. According to critics online, the emotional tone felt unusually deliberate. That triggered another uncomfortable theory. Critics online started wondering whether the audience wasn't actually the public at all. Maybe the audience was the media. Maybe the audience was critics. Maybe the audience was people speculating about Harry and Meghan's relationship publicly. Because according to many viewers online, the anniversary started feeling less like celebration and more like
2 p.m.
reassurance.
last night
According to
at
many
Wood
viewers
Farm.
online, this is where the
Telegraph,
story
which
stopped
first
being
broke
about
the
wedding
news,
pictures completely. Because critics online believe the anniversary post may have had a much bigger goal.
Both exiled.
Change the
both
emotional
circling
ending
back
of the
toward
week.
the institution they
Because
each
according to
damaged in their
discussions
own way.
online,
Neither with
Geneva did not become remembered for children's online safety, the speech, policy discussion, or international advocacy. Instead, critics online believe people mostly remembered the crowd footage,
and she has confirmed
the
she never
social
signed
media
an
contradiction,
NDA with the royal family.
the awkward
She has
optics,
everything.
and the dinner
and she plans to
controversy.
use-
That's a problem. Because according to many viewers online, critics think Geneva was supposed to be something much bigger publicly. Meghan standing alone. Independent. International. Serious. Not Harry's wife. Not former royal. Meghan herself. And according to critics online, that didn't happen. So when the wedding content suddenly appeared afterward, people interpreted it differently. Not, look at our anniversary, but remember this instead. Then another observation exploded online. People noticed that for an anniversary post, there was an unusual amount of intimacy. According to discussions online,
T2 recommendations
critics pointed out
for a stronger
the kisses,
early
the
intervention,
close
social
body
connection,
language,
and holistic
the private
support
reception
system.
moments, the emotional expressions. Supporters thought, sweet. Critics thought, overcorrecting. Because according to many viewers online, critics online believe public affection
been going.
becomes
The
more
Vancouver
noticeable when
Invictus
people
Games cost
already
$63
suspect there's
million.
something being responded to emotionally. Then another strange theory spread. Critics started saying Meghan increasingly responds to criticism through emotion instead of explanation. Bad headlines? Post-family. Negative press? Post-romance. Public skepticism? Post-authenticity. According to many viewers online, critics think that pattern has repeated enough times that audiences now anticipate it automatically. Then people started analyzing the actual choice of memories. Because according to discussions online, viewers noticed something interesting. The anniversary content focused heavily on private joy.
Also,
their
why is she wearing
world,
the exact
their
same
chemistry,
outfit? I guess she
their
wants
story,
us to like
but far
celebrate
less on
her and applaud
royal
her because the
tradition,
Princess of Wales
institutional moments, or broader family symbolism. That became another huge conversation. Because critics online argued it almost felt like an attempt to rewrite the emotional memory of the wedding itself. Not the royal wedding, but our wedding, our love, our moment. According to many viewers online,
government,
critics
we've made
believe that
the biggest
distinction matters
investment in
emotionally
DVA
because
in
Harry and Meghan's entire post-royal identity increasingly depends on separating their relationship story from the monarchy story publicly. Then another uncomfortable question appeared. If the wedding itself represented such a difficult period emotionally, why does it keep becoming the place they return to whenever public attention starts slipping? According to critics online, that question may be why the anniversary pictures created so much more discussion than anyone expected. Because people weren't only reacting to romance. They were reacting to what they believed the romance was trying to replace. According to many viewers online, the strangest part of this entire controversy is not the wedding photos themselves.
Covered it at the
It's
time.
that critics
And the
online
Invictus
think the
Games, of
anniversary
course, is
rollout
quite
may have
upset about
accidentally
that,
contradicted the
raging
exact
that
message Meghan had just spent days promoting publicly. Because according to discussions online, Geneva was framed around concerns involving online influence, digital pressure, children's well-being, social media culture, and how public platforms shape behavior. That was the serious version of Meghan. The advocate, the humanitarian, the person trying to speak above celebrity culture publicly. Then almost immediately afterward, the internet got music, montages, private memories, emotional storytelling, and highly shareable relationship content. According to many viewers online, critics online thought the transition felt abrupt. Not because anniversary posts are wrong,
their march,
but because critics believe the format looked almost identical to
the opening
influencer
procession.
culture.
She walked
And
in front
according
of
to
them,
discussions
the wounded
online,
soldiers,
that became
the entire
difficult for
reason the
people to
event exists.
reconcile. Because critics online increasingly argue Meghan tries to operate in two completely different worlds simultaneously. Critic of social media culture and master of social media storytelling. That contradiction became another huge talking point. Then another observation spread. People started comparing what Meghan says publicly to what gets posted visually. Privacy, boundaries, protection, but also carefully selected access, controlled intimacy, curated personal
Now people are
moments.
finally asking the question
According
that should
to
have been
many
asked
viewers
years
online,
ago.
critics online argue that tension now follows almost everything Harry and Meghan do publicly. Then people started focusing on Harry. Because according to discussions online, viewers noticed something emotionally interesting about the anniversary itself. Harry looked like the symbol. Meghan looked like the storyteller. Critics online started saying the content increasingly felt less like Harry and Meghan sharing a memory, and more like Meghan presenting a narrative. That interpretation spread fast. Then another uncomfortable theory appeared. Critics online wondered whether Harry even likes this level of visibility anymore. Because according to many viewers online, Harry spent years criticizing media intrusion, photographers, public obsession,
Person she
loss
meets.
of private
Her eyes
moments.
are always on the people
And yet
in
here
front
were
of her,
deeply private
never
wedding
on the
images
camera.
entering
Yeah, I think there's
public
gonna be renewed
circulation years
confidence.
later.
I think that's what I'm expecting.
Supporters would argue, they're married. They chose to share it. End of story. But critics online responded, then why fight so hard for privacy if private memories eventually become content anyway? That question became brutal. Then another detail got attention. People noticed how emotional the images felt.
We haven't
Not
seen her for
playful,
4 years, going
not
abroad.
nostalgic. Very intentional. Very cinematic. Very, look what we built. According to many viewers online, critics online believe the anniversary was trying to communicate one clear message emotionally. Despite everything, we're still the love story. And according to critics, that's why the reaction became so divided.
If you watched the
Because some
Vancouver
people
games,
saw romance.
you saw it.
Others
Meghan
thought
didn't
they were
walk along.
watching reputation management in real time. According to many viewers online, the reason the anniversary photos triggered such a strong reaction is because critics online believe they've seen this pattern before. Not necessarily the wedding pictures. The formula. Because according to discussions online, critics think difficult headlines around Meghan increasingly seem to get followed by highly emotional personal content. Family,
Or
love,
if it serves the
children,
public image of its
nostalgia,
leadership,
private
i.e.
access,
later
warm,
and have it fit
and
identically.
according to many
Unless
viewers
the photos
online, critics online argue the strategy feels increasingly recognizable publicly. That doesn't mean the moments are fake. But according to critics, the sequencing no longer feels accidental. Then people started revisiting older examples. Public criticism. Then, family content. Relationship criticism. Then, romantic
Italy,
storytelling.
and let the pictures do the
Questions
talking.
about
the
relevance.
difference is everything.
Then,
Catherine arrives
private
focused
access.
entirely on her
According
early
to
years
many
mission,
viewers online,
genuinely prepared,
critics online
deeply
believe
knowledgeable.
audiences increasingly expect emotional redirection automatically now. That perception became important. Because once audiences expect narrative management,
and said
they
simply,
stop experiencing
"We don't need
moments
this."
emotionally.
Australia continues to
They
grapple
start
with the findings of
analyzing
the Royal
them
Commission into
strategically.
Defence and Veteran.
Then another
and the-
uncomfortable observation spread. People noticed how differently Harry and Meghan's anniversary content feels compared with traditional royal communication. Historically, formal portraits, milestone messages, brief acknowledgement. But according to discussions online, critics online believe Harry and Meghan increasingly operate more like celebrity storytelling than royal symbolism. Private moments, relationship mythology, audience intimacy. According to many viewers online, critics think the anniversary looked less like commemoration and more like participation. Look inside. See us. Feel close to us. That became another huge discussion. Then another theory spread. Critics online started asking whether Meghan increasingly treats visibility itself as proof. Proof of happiness. Proof of success. Proof of love. Proof everything worked. Because according to many viewers online, critics think public validation increasingly appears emotionally central to the Harry and Meghan brand publicly. Then people noticed something else. These weren't random wedding pictures. These were highly emotional selections. Not standing together, but touching, kissing, looking emotional. Private moments. According to critics online, the choices felt intentional emotionally. Then another uncomfortable question appeared.
In my opinion,
if your relationship
their
is
mother
strong,
is a malignant narcissist.
who are you proving it to?
We got a photo
Supporters
dump
say,
of Harry
nobody.
and Meghan standing very
It's
close.
just celebration. Critics online say, the public. That debate exploded afterward. Because according to many viewers online, critics believe the anniversary post accidentally exposed a deeper insecurity they think follows
Someone
Harry
made the
and Meghan
observation
publicly
that sealed
now.
it. Children
The need to
grow.
constantly
Their
remind
clothes stop
audiences that
fitting.
the love
You
story
cannot put the
still
same
matters.
dress.
And according to critics, that's why people reacted so strongly. Because they weren't only looking at old wedding pictures. They were asking, why do we need to see them now? According to many viewers online, the most uncomfortable takeaway from this entire anniversary controversy is not the wedding photos. It's what critics online believe the photos revealed emotionally. Because according to discussions online, Geneva was supposed to feel like a separation moment. Meghan alone. Meghan independent. Meghan as a global figure outside the monarchy. That was the idea critics online believe the appearance was trying to communicate. And according to many viewers online, the reaction didn't land that way publicly. Then suddenly, the solution became the exact thing she was supposedly moving beyond. Prince Harry. The wedding. Royal memories. Royal imagery. That contradiction became impossible for critics online to ignore. Because according to discussions online, critics believe Meghan increasingly wants something extremely difficult publicly. The freedom of celebrity. Combined with the emotional power of royalty. That observation spread aggressively. Because according to many viewers online,
T2 recommendations
critics online argue
or
the
stronger
anniversary
early
pictures
intervention, social
accidentally
connection, and
reinforced
holistic
something Harry and
support
Meghan have spent years trying to challenge. That their biggest cultural moments still come from royal association. Not the podcast. Not the speeches. Not the activism. Not Geneva.
actually been
The
going.
wedding.
The Vancouver
That
Invictus
realization
Games cost
became
$63 million.
Then another uncomfortable observation started spreading. People pointed out that among all the new content, the strongest emotional reaction online came from images created before they left royal life. Before California. Before the interviews. Before the documentaries. Before the rebrand. According to many viewers online, critics online think that contrast became difficult to ignore. Because critics believe it raised another painful question. If your strongest content still comes from your royal years, what does that say about everything built afterward? Then people started analyzing the wedding itself again. According to discussions online,
Also, why is she wearing the
critics
exact
pointed out
same
something
outfit?
strange.
I guess she wants us
For
to
years,
like
the wedding has appeared
celebrate
in
her and
multiple
applaud her
emotional
because
roles
the Princess
publicly.
of Wales
A
sometimes
fairy tale, a burden, a painful memory, a beautiful beginning, a difficult institution, a love story. And according to many viewers online, critics online argue those emotional positions sometimes seem to change depending on what story is needed publicly at the moment. That perception became powerful.
To government,
Then another
we've made
theory appeared.
The biggest investment
Critics
in
online
DVA
believe
in
Meghan increasingly uses memory itself as reputation management. Not changing facts. Changing emotional emphasis. This week. Remember the wedding. Remember the romance. Remember the chemistry. Remember who we were. According to many viewers online, critics think that emotional repositioning is becoming easier to spot publicly now. Then another difficult question appeared. If Geneva had been universally praised, would the wedding pictures still have arrived exactly the same way? Critics online think that question explains why people reacted so strongly. Because according to discussions online, the internet no longer treats Harry and Meghan's personal content
covered
as
it at
random.
the time.
And
the Invictus
increasingly
Games, of course,
assume
is
every
quite
release
upset
means
about
something.
that.
And that may be
Raging
the
that
hardest public image problem of all. According to many viewers online, this is where the entire anniversary backlash became much bigger than wedding photos. Because critics online believe Meghan Markle now faces a public image problem that has nothing to do with popularity anymore. Trust. Not whether people like her. Whether people believe her intentions. Because according to discussions online, critics think audiences increasingly no longer consume Meghan's stories emotionally. They consume them strategically. A speech appears. People ask, why no? A family photo appears. People ask, what's the distraction? A romantic post appears. People ask,
speeches,
what's the headline underneath?
Teams
According to many viewers online,
weird stuff
critics
that
believe that
doing
pattern may now be
during the opening
impossible for
procession.
Meghan to escape
She walked in front of
publicly.
them.
That
The
became
wounded
the
soldiers,
harshest interpretation
the entire
of all.
reason the event exists.
Because critics online argue the anniversary pictures themselves may not have mattered. The problem was that people already expected them to mean something. Then another uncomfortable comparison spread online. Critics pointed out that many celebrities share anniversary content. Actors, politicians, influencers. Nobody cares. But according to discussions online, people believe Harry and Meghan's content increasingly gets treated differently. Not because it's bigger. Because audiences assume messaging exists
Now people
behind
are
it.
finally asking
That
the question that
distinction
should have been
matters.
asked years ago.
Because according to
Where
many
has all
viewers
this-
online, critics online argue once audiences stop assuming sincerity. Even genuinely sincere moments stop landing emotionally. Then another brutal theory appeared. Critics online argued the wedding pictures felt less like, look at our marriage, and more like, remember why you cared about us. That observation spread aggressively. Because according to discussions online, critics believe Harry and Meghan increasingly return to the same emotional anchors repeatedly. The wedding, the love story, the break from the monarchy, the struggle, the romance. And critics online argue those memories still generate stronger reactions than newer chapters of their public identity. That realization became uncomfortable. Then people
person she
started
meets.
asking another
Her
question.
eyes are always on the
If the
people
goal
in
of
front of
Geneva
her,
was to
never on the
establish
camera.
Meghan as
Yeah, I
an
think there's going to be
independent
renewed
global figure,
confidence. I think that's what
why
we're
did the
expecting.
emotional recovery immediately depend on Harry again? According to many viewers online, critics online think that contradiction became impossible to ignore. Then another observation spread. People noticed something strange. Geneva was about Meghan alone,
Princess of
but
Wales,
the anniversary became strongest when Harry returned to the center of the
We haven't seen her
narrative.
for 4 years.
According to
going
critics
abroad.
online, that may have accidentally reinforced the exact thing Meghan was trying to move beyond publicly. Then came the harshest conclusion of all. Critics online argued the wedding pictures didn't fail because people disliked romance. They failed because people thought they understood the purpose. And once audiences believe they already know why something was posted,
themselves. If
they
you
stop
watched the
reacting
Vancouver
to the
games,
content.
you saw it.
They react to
Meghan
the
didn't walk
intention they
along.
think sits behind it. According to many viewers online, that may be why private wedding kisses became another public controversy instead of becoming the warm anniversary moment they were probably intended to be. At this point, the internet is completely divided over Meghan Markle, the anniversary photos, and whether people are reading far too much into something that was supposed to be personal. Some people believe this entire backlash is absurd.
Or if
8
it serves
years
the
of
public
marriage.
image of
A
its
couple
leadership,
shares memories.
i.e.
That's
later
normal.
and have it
Others
fit
believe the
identically.
timing made
Unless
it
the
impossible
photos
to
are
separate the anniversary from everything happening around Geneva publicly. And honestly, that's why this story exploded so aggressively online. Because according to many viewers online, the argument was never really about kissing pictures. It became about something much bigger. Authenticity. Can public figures share private moments without people assuming
Italy,
strategy?
and let the pictures
Can someone
do the
talk
talking.
about
The
protecting
difference is
privacy while
everything.
still choosing
Catherine
which
arrives
private
focused
moments become
entirely
public?
on her early
And
years
once
mission.
audiences stop
Genuinely
giving someone the
prepared,
benefit of
deeply
the doubt,
knowledgeable.
can even genuine memories survive public skepticism? Then there's the wedding photos themselves. Do you think Meghan simply wanted to celebrate 8 years with Harry and critics
And said
massively
simply,
overanalyzed
we
it?
don't need this.
Or do you
Australia
think
continues
critics
to
are
grapple
right
with
that
the findings of the
releasing
Royal
intimate,
Commission into
unseen
Defense and
images
Veteran
immediately
and
after
in
difficult
my opinion,
headlines changed
their
how
mother
people
is a
interpreted the
malignant
post?
narcissist. We
Then
got a
there's
photo
the Geneva
dump
question.
of Harry
Do you
and
think
Meghan
Meghan was
standing
trying
very
to
close.
establish herself as an independent public figure? Or do you think the anniversary content accidentally proved critics right? That the strongest emotional interest still comes back to Harry and the royal connection? And what about the privacy argument?
Someone made
Do you
the
think
observation
selectively
that
sharing
sealed
personal
it.
moments
Children
is
grow.
completely
Their
normal
clothes
in
stop
modern
fitting.
public life?
You cannot put the
Or
same
do
dress.
you think Harry and Meghan increasingly struggle because audiences feel private content only appears at very specific moments? Drop your thoughts in the comments because audiences online are completely split on this story right now. And if you want more deep breakdowns on royal drama, celebrity controversies, media narratives, internet culture, and the stories social media cannot stop obsessing over, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because according to many viewers online, the real controversy may never have been the wedding pictures at all. It may have been the growing feeling that people no longer believe moments happen by coincidence anymore.